So, so in the last session, we generated two files and we submitted chart of accounts file. Since there was lock already there at accounting flex field, and system created only value sets and rest were not created. Just now I submitted the same file once again. Here you can notice upload enterprise structure and hierarchies. It is showing warning, and manage value sets and maintain chart of accounts hierarchy. It is showing as succeeded. Why it is showing as warning? If there is any delay in deployment process, system will show as a warning. We have to submit through manual process. You can look at this warning message. If deployment is, if it takes more than certain time, it will display the warning. Then we have to submit the deployment through manual process. Rest you can expect already system is completed. Go to log file, open, open this file. So value sets, these are the value set system created. Company MX, department MX, account MX, intercompany MX, project future 1, future 2 MX, and chart of account structure code it created with the name called as MX. Okay, and tree codes also. With each chart of accounts value set, it will create the trees also. This is what system created. Structure also it created structure in the sense it creates instance also. Okay, here you can notice once you submit that file, this is the first job system will trigger, and it will call these two other jobs. These two jobs you can see the status is succeeded. Only for this it is showing as a warning. So if you submit through manual process, that would be complete. Only deployment is pending. That's what we have to understand. We will check that again. Let's try to open the log file. Yeah, this is the log file. So process started validating this and that. You can see like a process value set processes successfully processing chart of account key flex field. You just verify. Okay, assign segment label to company, assign segment label to department, assign segment label to account, assign segment label to intercompany. And here you can say chart of accounts process successfully, chart of accounts, deployment initiated successfully, processing value sets values, value set values process successfully. Okay, processing hierarchies, processing hierarchies processed successfully, everything done, and version pre-prod. It's almost done. Submission past status COA. This validation completed successfully. Job maintain chart of account hierarchies. Yeah. So here you can see accounting flexible deployment status is edited. Okay, warning. Exceeded minimum waiting time of 15 minutes. This process, this file is submitted and all are created and it waited for 15 minutes, but the deployment was not completed. That is the reason it is showing warning. That means all are created, only deployment is pending. It waits for minimum 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, if deployment is not completed, so it will display the warning. Now what we have to do is just giving the message, wait for GL accounting flex will deployment to complete before proceeding to upload the financial common entities zip file. Okay. To upload the second file, we have to wait to see the deployment status as a deployed. Anyway, we'll verify one by one. Till by that time, if deployment is not completed, we'll submit the deployment only through manual process. Okay. So system is allocating 15 minutes time for a deployment during this process. If because of a number of chart of accounts, validations and all, if the deployment process is not going to be completed within 15 minutes, it will display the warning message. That's what we are able to see here. Okay, it is showing the warning. The reason is deployment is not yet completed. It waited for 15 minutes. Okay, the jobs are waited for 15 minutes, not completed. Now we'll verify one by one. Already in the last session itself, we verified segments are created. Now we'll go and check whether chart of accounts are created by system or not. So go to chart of accounts task. Now when you are checking all these, okay, you can create the project. From project you can do it. Even if you don't have project, no issues. You can check from the search page. Already we created project. We can go and check from our project only. Let me change this name. Say okay. Please don't unmute. Now you can search for the task called as chart of account structures. Manage chart of account structures. Click on go to task icon. Click on search. Go to manage structures. We'll go to verify whether chart of account structure is created or not. What name we given in that rapid implementation sheet? We given the name as Amex, right? Where we saved that file. I think this is the one. We saved the data or not. We'll check once. Yeah. This is what we created. So we given the name as Amex. With the same name, system should create chart of account structure. We'll verify. Okay. Here search for Amex. So system created structure called as Amex. You can click on edit to see within the structure how many segments system created. Click on edit. These are the segments, right? The same we given in this spreadsheet. Company, department, account, intercompany, project, future 1, future 2. The same system created. Company, department, account, intercompany, project, future 1, future 2. How it created company segment, you can check. You can select segment and click on edit. Okay. The code is company, API name is company, name is company, description is company, sequence number it's selected as 1, prompt company, and short prompt we given in the spreadsheet itself. segment name and prompt we given, right? Segment name we given company, short prompt we given COMP. COMP. The display width, whatever system is selected into the value set creation, the same is defaulting here also. And it's selected for segment. Automatically company value set is assigned to company segment. And as per rapid implementation sheet, we select a label called as primary balancing segment label. Within the rapid implementation sheet, the same primary balancing segment label is assigned to company segment here. When we created chart of accounts, we selected delimiter as a dot. Here it is selecting hyphen. If you want to change, you can change it. You can change to dot also. That is fine. The same way you can check any one of the segment, how it created, you can understand. Select segment, click on edit. So we given the names like name, account, and short prompt we given ACCT. For account name we given as account, and short prompt we given as ACCT. Okay. This we given 5, right? Later we updated and we forgot to save. So natural account label we assigned as per rapid implementation sheet, right? Natural account segment label. So this is just what are the information we given in the rapid implementation sheet. Accordingly, system created chart of accounts. With the same name, system should create chart of accounts structure instance also. If you want to change the name, now you can change it. Okay, Amex accounting flex or flex wheel, you can rewrite the name. The fields are editable, you can see. Structure code you cannot change. Code will remain as it is. But name and descriptions, if you want to change anytime, you can change. Now say cancel to close this page. So what we discussed, the rapid implementation sheet creates value sets that already we verified yesterday itself. And after creating the value sets, it should create structure. Yes, it created structure. Within the structure, it created segments. And the value sets are associated with the segments. To segment labels also assigned. Now we'll go and check whether instance is created by system or not. Okay, we'll go and check. Against the chart of account structure, instance is created by system or not, we'll verify. Go to manage structure instances. Find the instance also with the same name. It should create with the same name. Amex search. Yes, it created instance also with the same name. To verify the instance definition, click on edit. So this is a code, it's selected and the API name it is taking and the name it is taking. If you want to provide description, you can provide. And how it is creating the instance by copying the structure called as Amex. For all the segments, it marked as a required. You can see here. Required the same segments. What are the segments we have in the Amex chart of account structure? By copying all the segments, it created instance automatically is marked as a required. And for which segment, which value sets are being used, you can see here. Okay. So instance also created. Okay, done. Only it failed to complete the deployment. System could not perform the deployment because there is some time limit. Okay, once system will initiate the deployment process after creating the instance and all, within 15 minutes time it can complete it. More than 15 minutes time means it will fail to complete. So that's what happened in our case. So since system is not able to deploy, since there are a number of chart of account structures and instances, and we have to initiate the manual deployment. Okay, deployment process we have to submit. Once this is done, once you see the deployment status as a deployed, then we can submit the second sheet. Okay, financial common entities. We have one more sheet, right? We have to submit financial common entity sheet so that system will create accounting calendars, primary ledger, legal entity, business unit, and everything. We'll see that. First, we'll complete this. So, since system is not able to complete within allocated time, we are going to submit through manual process. Just click on deploy flex field. It is showing error. You see here there is some error message. It is not showing any number of errors, but still if you expand it, you can see the issues with this. So another user currently editing or deploying this flex field. Retry deploying the flex field. Please don't work on this page. Okay, please don't work on this page if somebody is working. Any other issues we have along with this, we'll check. So fail to log the record. Some other user is working on this. Another user hold the lock. We fail to log the records. We will verify if any with any one of the chart of account structure. If any issues, we'll fix. Meantime, we'll check it. No, nothing. Nothing. Okay. So only issue with the lock. Another user is currently, here's the message, currently editing or deploying this flex field. Okay, retry to deploy this flex field. Once the task is complete, or contact the system administrator for future assistance. Okay, the guys who are attending the class, if somebody is working on this page, please come out from that page so that we'll be able to complete this. I didn't log. Please don't be on this page. Search. Say deploy. Same issue. Okay, another user is currently editing or deploying this flex field. Another user is deploying and editing. Have to wait for some time, no other option. So they have to exit from this page, then only we can proceed with this deployment. Fail to lock. Okay, the lock got released. Okay, earlier there was some other user who is accessing this chart accounting flex field. Now we can notice there is no lock got released, and our user is able to initiate this process with our deployment request. Okay, wait for some time. The warnings and all you can ignore. You don't need to worry about the warnings. If any errors, we have to look into and we have to fix. It may take couple of minutes time. We'll wait. So instead of recording this waiting period, I'm going to stop the recording. Once this deployment is completed, I'll resume the recording and we'll proceed. It may take 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes also. So I'll just stop the recording meantime. So great. Almost we waited for 10 minutes and we could see the status as a deployment completed successfully. Only the reason this is a practice instance, we are practicing many chart of account structures and instances are created. So system took time to validate all those. When you are working for your client, you can expect this deployment in seconds or max maybe just 1 minute, not more than that. Okay, since this is a training or say practice instance, because of number of instances of chart of accounts which are available in the accounting flex field is very high. So that is the reason it took this much time. If you find any errors, you can just expand and you can fix. If you find any warnings, ignore it. It won't stop from doing something, whatever we are planning. Okay. Now you can say, okay. And you can see the deployment status as a deployed. You have to make sure that the deployment status is deployed, then you can submit the second file. Okay, now we submitted through manual process. Why? There was some lock. When system was trying to deploy and system identified the accounting flex field is locked, the other user working on this same, that is the reason it failed to deploy, and the same message it given based on that we submitted for deployment. Now we can see the status as deployed. Now we can go ahead and we can submit the second file. What is the second file we have to submit? This is the second file. So financial common entities. What we'll do is we'll submit that file and we'll discuss about what the file exactly will create. Okay, we'll go and submit this, and we have to, I think we have to check whether the system created segment values or not. We'll check whether values are created or not, value attributes are associated with the segment values or not. Now go to manage chart of accounts, value set values. So we know how system created value set names, segment name plus the company name. So a company MX, this is a value set which system created. Go to manage values. Whatever the values we provided in the rapid implementation sheet, the same system should create within the value set. Click on search. Here you can see the values. So we given 9999 as a all companies, and it is selecting summary as yes. Summary as means parent. When it is a parent, allow posting, allow budgeting is no. Remaining all system is selecting allow budgeting, allow posting as yes. So the same you can see in the spreadsheet. Go to companies. We create a total 4 companies here. 9999, 1000, 2000, 3000. Financial services, BPO, consulting, all companies. The same you can see within the instance. All companies, financial services, BPO, consulting. The same way you can just verify other segments also. Department MX, this is another value set. Click on manage values. Click on search. So these are the departments we provided within the rapid implementation sheet. The finance, HR, sales, marketing, purchasing, and one value we given as all departments. Right. You can go to department sheet and you can see the same. Here we didn't provide any value attributes as allow budgeting, allow posting. There is no option here. By default, system is taking allow posting and allow budgeting as yes for everything except parent value. All department is parent. So that is the reason, since as a parent, summary it is marking as yes. Summary yes means there is a parent. With that you cannot record any transaction. Only you can use that for reporting purpose. And when summary is yes, you never create any transactions and you don't do budgeting. So it is set to no. So this is how you can verify any value set. You can find the values whatever we given in the wrapped implementation sheet. You can go to account value set, search. Okay, search for account value set. This is the account Amex value set. Click on manage values and click on search. Here you can notice there are a number of values which we loaded. I think here it is not saved. Okay, but we copied and pasted right from the sample sheet. From the sample sheet we copied and pasted, and with that only we generated sheet file. Now you can see the same, all accounts are loaded. Done. So whatever we placed in this wrapped implementation, whatever we entered in this wrapped implementation, the same system loaded. Done. Okay, so that's all about this chart of account file. Now we'll go to submit financial common entities file, and what it will create in which sequence we will discuss, and we will verify in the system also. First we'll submit this file. Go to same task. You just search with a rapid term. Okay, just say cancel to close this page. Click on done. Go to search page and search with the term called as rapid. Task list. Go to search page. Search with the term called as rapid. Go to task list called as define common financial configuration for rapid implementation. Just click on this and go to this hyperlink. Upload ledger, legal entities and business units. Go to this link. Ignore that message and select browse. And here we have a file called as financials common entities. Select financial common entities and say submit. Say OK. Now what exactly this file is going to create now? Okay, we just submitted that file. Upload enterprise structure and hierarchies. System is running this. Meantime, we'll discuss what exactly this file is going to create in the system. This file first it will create accounting calendar. Okay, it will create accounting calendar. As a next step, it will create primary ledger and it will set ledger options. Ledger options means primarily it will set return earnings account code combination. How it will set and all we'll discuss. We'll set ledger options. Then it will create legal address. And by using the legal address, this file will create legal entity. Will create legal entity. As the next step, it will assign this legal entity to primary ledger. will assign LE, means legal entity. It will assign LE to primary ledger, or you can say PL. So already we discussed these short names. PL, primary ledger, legal entity LE. So once the system would create legal entity, that legal entity system will assign to primary ledger. Assign legal entity to primary ledger. Then within the primary ledger, what are the balance and segment values we have? Those will get assigned to legal entity. Assign balance and segment values, BSVs. What we call as BSVs? To which segment we are assigning primary balance and segment label. Under that segment, what are the values we have? Those we call as a balance and segment values. Already we discussed. So the same point. Assign balance and segment values to legal entity. If you have multiple, accordingly it will assign. So once this is done, system will complete the primary ledger definition. Complete primary ledger. It's nothing but there will be one task we know. Already we have seen. Review on to submit accounting configuration. That is the task system will submit to complete the primary ledger definition. During this primary ledger completion process, what system will do? It will validate all the definitions. If everything is fine, the same data it will copy to Essbase. The previous classes we discussed this point. Okay. The complete primary ledger definition will copy to Essbase, so that what are the transactions we are recording and what are the data will get stored in the Oracle database, that same data will sync with Essbase. Once data is available in the space, we'll be able to prepare the Hyperion financial reports, HFR or FRS you can call. FRS, Financial Reporting Studio, or you can call as HFR, Hyperion Financial Reports. So for that purpose, the movement system will complete the primary ledger. The same primary ledger definition will be copied into Essbase for financial reporting purpose. After completing this, the file will perform few other declarations also. What it will do, it will create business unit and it will assign business functions to BU. We completed these setups through manual process, right? We created business unit. The same business unit we assigned to business functions. The business functions we assigned to business unit. And this file cannot create any location for business unit, because as per our rapid implementation sheet, we don't have any location information. Only we created an address for legal entity as per rapid implementation sheet, but there is no option to create address or say location for a business unit. One system would create this business unit after assigning the business unit business functions to BU. We can create the location through manual process. That location we can assign to our business unit through manual process only. So we don't have option to auto create the location for business units. So this is what we have to understand. Okay, this is a sequence system is going to follow. It will create accounting calendar. With what name it will create accounting calendar? What are the name we given in the rapid implementation sheet? Accordingly it will create. Here what name we given Amex. That means, okay, now this your system will create accounting calendar with the same name, Amex. And it will create primary ledger. What name we given here? The rapid implementation sheet we given Amex. Now what system will do is, the primary ledger is created for which country. From that country it will take country code. Okay, currency is USD, or else here legal entity belongs to US. Okay, based on this country, it will create primary ledger name. How it will create primary ledger name? The rapid implementation sheet what we given Amex. Now it will create the primary ledger name like this. We'll take Amex And the primary ledger is created for which country? US. This would be the primary ledger name what our system is going to create. Set ledger options. Here system will provide return earnings account automatically. How it will provide? Within this wrapped implementation sheet as a part of accounts. The accounts we copied but we didn't save that information you can have. Just 1 second. The accounts already there is some specification. So here you can notice return earnings account, there is classification like owner's equity return earnings. When there is some additional specification like return earnings, automatically system will use this account into return earnings account field 31010. But what about other segment values? Okay, account it will select return earnings account. What about company, department, project, intercompany, future 1 and future 2? During this process, what system will do is it will select all segment related first values. It will pick first company, system will pick first department, and account it will pick whatever we given in this wrapped implementation sheet with additional classification as returned earnings, and it will pick project as a first value, and the intercompany first value, future 1, future 2, whatever the values are available as the initial values within those value sets, those it will pick. But account it will pick whatever we addressed as a returned earnings classification within this wrapped implementation sheet. That's how system will create returned earnings account code combination within the sheet, within the system. And legal address, already we given the legal address within the wrapped implementation sheet. Here you can go to companies and legal entities, already we given legal address. This is complete, this is a legal entity name, and this is a legal identifier, country, legal address line and city, state, county, postal code, etc. All the details whatever we given, by using these details system will create legal address automatically. By using the same legal address, it will create the legal entity. And it will assign the legal entity to our primary ledger. And within the primary ledger, what are the balance and segment values we have, those system will assign to legal entity automatically. Then it will complete the primary ledger definition and it will create the business unit. What business unit it will create? Here already we have that information. In the business unit page, we listed out business units. Okay, this is a business unit. With this name, system will create business unit and it will assign the legal entity, and legal entity is already assigned to primary ledger. That means primary ledger also it will assign to business unit. So whenever we create business unit, automatically system will assign the primary ledger and legal entity to the same business unit during this process. Okay, so this is what the file will generate. Hope the file is already generated. We'll go and check one by one. And by default, this wrapped implementation file will create accounting calendar for 2 years. Okay, it will create the periods for 2 years. We'll check one by one. Okay, system should create accounting calendar with Amex name. The reason, the wrapped implementation sheet, the name what we given is Amex. We'll go and check. Just refresh to see the status. You can see the status has succeeded. This is a file we generated, submitted, and this is all system called. And when it validate and it will copy our primary ledger from Oracle database to Essbase, these jobs system will trigger. So all you can see as succeeded. That means all setups are completed. We'll go and verify one by one. Now go to accounting calendar page. You can go to that accounting calendar page from the project or directly from search page, because Scope selection is not mandatory. If scope selection is mandatory, you have to navigate from the project only. Or else let's do everything from our project only. Click on overview, open the project. Go to task called as accounting calendar. Task name is manage accounting calendars. Manage accounting calendars. Click on go to task icon. So what is the name? Amex. Use enter key. Created. Now click on the same name. Okay, name it took Amex and start date selected Jan 1st 21. But in this rapid implementation sheet, okay, so this is the format we given, and it's shown error message and we updated to 2021, but finally it is taking the year in 2 digits only. However, it is required as per application. And period frequency we given monthly, the same selected. Here you could see period frequency we given monthly. Adjustment periods once at year end. Adjustment periods frequency once at year end. Okay. So that's what here you can notice. System created periods for 2 years. 2021, 2022. Okay, whatever the date you are giving, from the date it will create accounting calendar for 2 years. Now the same you can see. Answer.
Is the default, Lakshman?
Yeah, by default. Yes. If you want to add additional, how to add also we discussed. The same process. But created for 2 years by default. If you want to add years for next year, I mean, if you want to add years means if you want to add periods for next year, click on add year. Now it will create periods for 2022. Created, you can see the periods below. 2023 periods also created. By default, rapid implementation sheet can create periods for 2 years. Since we created, say, save and close. Okay, done. The next point is
Lakshman, why that page shows that first period is Jan 23, but ideally it was 21 and 7.
Not John. No. The first period, like here, in the next year, whatever you created within that first period. Okay. So this is the first starting date. This is the first period. Here you could see the display name. What display like? What is latest year? See, now it is showing first period is 2024. When you click on add year, this would be the first period. From here, system is going to create the periods. That is the meaning of it. First period in next year, wherever you are going to create the periods. Now, if I click on add year, from this period it will create 1 year. I'll click on add year.
Got it.
Then next it would be first period would be Jan 25. If you save it again, if you come back to this page, for a 24 also it created periods. If you want to add the periods, it would be for next year 2025. That would be Jan 25. Once you save, you can see that 25 out. Okay. Now we'll check primary ledger is created with this name or not. Okay, Amex, the same name as it is what we given in the rapid implementation sheet, and it will include country code also. We'll go and check. Close this. So go to primer ledger page. Manage primary ledgers. Click on go to task icon. Search with the name called as Amex. How it created primary ledger with Amex US. This is the name. And what chart of account structure instance it is used. Amex. Accounting calendar is Amex. Okay. And it completed primary ledger definition also. That is the reason status also marked as a confirmed. It copied our chart of accounts and everything to SBase also. That is balance cubes. It is showing the name. Otherwise, it won't show. It is already copied to SBase also. So we'll see. If you want to change the name, you can change it. That you can change with the specify ledger options only. Okay. Now we'll go and verify whether ledger options are configured for this primary ledger or not. Directly when you open the primary ledger, you cannot change the name, whatever system taken as input or whatever we given. Only you can change the ledger name through ledger options. So now we'll go to the ledger options for our ledger. So here we have a specify ledger options. Already some other ledger is selected in the selected scope. Now what we can do is to select our ledger, click on this ledger. Whatever the ledger name we have already in the selected scope, click on ledger name. Here you can select whatever the ledger we want to access. So select and add. Apply and go to task. Now we want to access which ledger. Amex, use enter key. Now say save and close. Okay, here you can see the name. You can update this name. This is system generated name. I can change the name. Amex USA primary ledger. Let me take the same as a description. And currency it selected USD. How it got selected? We given currency as USD. Even if you don't give currency, it can pick based on the legal entity. And chart of accounts selected Amex chart of account. It is nothing but chart of account structure instance name, not just chart of accounts. And accounting calendar it selected Amex. Okay, and here you can notice very important point. Returned earnings account code combination to created. Okay, how it created? By selecting the first value. By selecting the first value from each segment it created. Account it is selecting returned earnings account only. There is additional classification for returned earnings account, right? Owner's equity returned earnings. Because of that additional specification, system is able to understand which account should be taken into this ledger options. It selected first company as per this value set values. The first one is 1000, right? From this list. Okay, the parent values we cannot see. From department list, it selected first one. From accounts, returned earnings account only. Okay, so that's how it just picked. So intercompany not applicable, you can say 00. This is also not, even you can accept the same, nothing will go wrong. So any value you can pick for other segments, but make sure that for account you are selecting the right value, that is returned earnings account. So that's all. We don't need to change anything here. Just for information we are going through. So here we are not doing anything. If you want to change the ledger name, definitely we have to change the ledger name. The reason whatever the name we are providing here, the same name system will use for chart of account, calendar, and ledger. That's the reason we cannot give the name here as a Amex USA primary ledger. If you give the name Amex USA primary ledger, with the same name system will create chart of accounts and calendar also. So that is the reason, just provide very common name here. And once system would create the certain definitions based on this name, you can modify. Okay, you can modify. That's what we have done. So you can just say save and close because we updated the names. Okay, we changed the name from Amex US to Amex USA primary ledger. Done. What is the next point we have to verify? Okay, create legal address. Create legal address. We're going to verify legal entity is created or not. If legal entity is already created, without legal address, it cannot be created. So we'll check legal entity definition. Or else simply we'll go and see whether legal entity is assigned to our primary ledger or not. If legal entity is assigned to our primary ledger, that means legal address is created, legal entity is created, that legal entity only assigned to our primary ledger. Instead of checking these 2 points, directly you can check this point whether legal entity is assigned or not. If the legal entity is assigned, that means it's created. It is created means legal address also created. So that's what we can understand. Now you can go to assign legal entities. Here we have a task called as assign legal entities. Assign legal entities is nothing but assign legal entities to primary ledger. We want to check this legal entity assignment to which primary ledger? This Amex USA primary ledger only. Okay, before changing the name, this is how we have our primary ledger name. We change the name from Amex US to Amex USA primary ledger. Right? Click on go to task icon. So this is our primary ledger name, Amex USA primary ledger. To this primary ledger, this legal entity is assigned. System created and assigned. Okay. So you can notice assign LE to primary ledger. That is already system completed. Amex USA legal entity is assigned to Amex USA primary ledger. Done. Next step is assign balance and segment values to legal entities. Whether those are assigned or not, you can check. Just now, whatever the page we navigated, from there also we can see, but not required. We'll see from this separate task. Assign balance and segment values to legal entities. You can check. See. So the 3 balance and segment values. We have only 3 balance and segment values, right? You can check in the rapid implementation sheet. Okay, only we have 3 balance and segment values. This is a parent. This is nowhere counted, only for reporting purpose. The 3 balance and segment values 1000, 2000, 3000. These system assigned automatic. The 3 balance and segment values are assigned to USA legal entity. This is what we did exactly when we did everything through manual process. In case of this rapid implementation also, system is doing the same. Then what other point we have to verify? Complete.
Lakshman.
Please.
Yeah, sorry, I think I'm missing something. So for there are 3 legal entities, 1000, 2000 and 3000. But I could see that only one retained account is created. So what about the remaining?
See, 3 companies we have. With the company 1000, you did some transactions. With the company 2, you did few transactions. Company 3, you did few transactions. Based on the transaction, system has a capability of calculating the retained earnings company-wise. You don't need to provide those 3 companies over there. You can give any company, just fields are mandatory. That is the reason. Okay. Say you spent, like you got 10 lakhs revenue and you spent 2 lakhs. The variance is 8 lakhs. This happened for company 1000. System will calculate 8 lakhs as a retained earnings for company 1000. When you talk about company 2000, you got revenue as a 2 lakhs and you spent 50,000. The 1,50,000 it will display against the company 2000 as a retained earnings. You don't need to provide company wise retained earnings account. Only just you have to provide the retained earnings account in the ledger options irrespective of company. Since company value is mandatory, we selected first one. Okay, reality that is also not required, but Oracle made that field as a mandatory, compulsory. So that is the reason any one of the value you can select. Company wise, you don't need to provide return earnings account. Company wise, it will calculate the return earnings and it will allocate that amounts with the same account company wise.
Okay, thanks, Lakshman.
Yeah. So now we'll go and verify whether primary ledger definition is completed or not. I guess already we have seen the status as a completed, but anyway, we'll go and verify. So the same task, manage primary ledgers. Our primary ledger name is, we updated name, right? The same you can see now. So it was Amex US. Now through ledger options we edited. Okay, when you do the changes to ledger, you don't need to submit for a deployment. When you add some new values in the company department account, you don't need to deploy. Okay. So this is a ledger name. Amex USA primary ledger. What is the status? Confirmed, completed. That means the same primary ledger definition is copied to Essbase also. What next we have to verify. Now we'll go and check whether system created business unit or not. Okay, system created business.
I have one question.
In some,
Lakshman, I have one question here.
please.
While completing a ledger, we got a confirm. Like, so after submitting a review ledger, so it should be confirmed. So that
One second.
Okay.
No. We did through manual process. In case of manual process, what we did, we submitted review or to submit accounting configuration task that we submitted. It got completed. Here system completed. It completed these tasks one by one. This. After assigning the balance and segment values to legal entity, it triggered the same task and the status is updated as a completed. Now, what is your question?
So now again we have a LDAP job. What is the difference between these two jobs?
We are
Review and
not
submit.
discussing about LDAP. I'll explain whenever you have to understand when that is required. Here, not required LDAP. Okay. Where that LDAP you have to understand where that will come into the picture, I will explain. When we use our primary ledger to record the transactions, when we use our business unit to record the transactions, before that, what are the setups we do, their LDAP is required. As of now, LDAP, we don't need to think. I'll explain that. Okay. If you know that name, okay. I'll explain where it will come into the picture, why we have to use it, where it will impact. Yeah. Already we assigned our primary ledger to GL roles, right? There we submitted LDAP. Hope you remember that. Anyway, we'll see once again. Issues.
Another thing, Lakshman, this primary ledger was completed automatically when we uploaded the file. But after that, we made some changes to the ledger, like we changed the name, we changed the account. So, will these changes now automatically get updated to Essbase, or do we like need to complete again or something?
Will get updated to Essbase automatically. Because of the changes, you don't need to run anything again.
Okay.
Yeah. Done. And again, you don't need to update, you don't need to submit our accounting flex field for deployment also. Okay. So you don't need to resubmit for a deployment, not required. Because you are doing the changes to primary ledger, not to our chart of account structure. If you do any changes to chart of account structure, again you have to submit for deployment. If you don't submit, those changes won't reflect. That's all.
Okay.
Now we'll go and verify whether business unit is created or not. So what is the name we given for our BU? Amex US business unit. Okay, this is the name we given. And nowhere you can provide the address for business unit. That means system should create the business unit without any location. But remember, location is mandatory. Otherwise, certain concepts doesn't work. If no address, no location for business unit, certain concepts doesn't work. So now we'll go and verify business unit is created. And here I want to give one note. In some instances, you may come across with that issue. Even if you submit this file, the instance specific issue this is. In some instances, you may find business unit system is not creating. Okay, in that case, you don't need to worry about it. But we can expect business unit also should be created by this financial common entries file. In some instance, if it is not happening, we don't need to worry about it. If it is not happening, please try to understand that is instance specific issue. Okay, but ideally that should be generated. Let's see in current instance what happened. Go to business units page, manage business unit, manage business unit. Click on go to task icon. With what name it should create business unit? Amex US business unit, right? Okay. Search for Amex US business unit. Hope it is created. Great, it is created. You can click on the same. How it created, you can see. Just name only. And you can notice default set it is selecting as a common. Set means what? When you see set, what you should remember, already discussed. Wherever you see the term called as set, could be default set or any set. When you see the set, what does it mean by set?
Reference data set.
Exactly. Just remember that point. Why? How come system is selecting common? Okay, how we can create our own, how we can use our own, where it will impact, why Oracle given this concept, we will discuss very soon as a part of payables, maybe after a couple of sessions. That's all. As of now, notice how system created business unit. What are the name we given, that name system picked, and we didn't provide any location. That is the reason location field is blank. And system selected default set as a common. Code is common, display name is common set. And you know how to create the location. From location creation page, you can create the location, and the location you can select here. Okay, you may select location here. I'm just selecting one location, existing location, or else you can create your own location. You can select here. Say save and close. Location also created. What else this file should create? It should assign business unit business functions. In the manual process, we assigned our primary ledger, and automatically system assigned legal entity to business unit, and the business unit is going to involve in which business functions. Those all we enabled, or you can say we assigned. That we don't need to do. In the rapid implementation process, the file can do that. Whether the file completed that setup or not, we'll go and verify. Okay, the task name is this. Assign business unit business function. We are checking for which BU, that BU we have to select here. Okay, already some other BU is there, XYZ and C. In this project, you can select Amex US business unit, so that to Amex US business unit, the business functions are already assigned or not by that rapid implementation file. We'll verify that. Just click on the BU name, whatever already we have as a selected scope value. Now we have to change to Amex. Say select and add. Click on apply and go to task. You can give the name like with what name you want to find out Amex. Select. Don't click on the name. It will open the business unit definition, how the business unit is created. Okay, you can just select that record. Say save and close. Now it will display whether the setup is completed or not. Yes, completed by system. So this is our business unit. The rapid implementation file is assigned our primary ledger and the legal entities to this business unit, and it enabled all the business functions. You can notice enabled all. By default, the rapid implementation file can enable all the business functions. If you want to disable, you can disable, but not required. Okay, it enabled all the business functions. That's all. So these are the setups you can expect from that rapid implementation file. There are other rapid implementation files also. Okay, first you try with this, and you will be able to, we can understand the same process, input data, generate files, upload. That is the practice we have to follow when we talk about rapid implementation. Now we're done with the rapid implementation, we loaded. Now we can create our own project, and from now we'll proceed with Amex only. Ignore XYZ INC. Let's keep Amex user also ready. What are the setups we completed with the name of XYZ INC? Those will just complete for Amex also. First, let's create user called as Amex, so that we can proceed with the name called as Amex company, American Express. Of course, they are using Oracle applications for their business operations. Now go to Security Console. Go to Users. Say Add User Account. You can give the name as Amex. Assign basic roles, because from Amex user we are going to do the implementation. We need full privileges. Let's assign application implementation consultant role. Assign IT security manager also. Assign. For XYZ ANC user, we assign GL roles also, right? Let's assign those GL roles also. So here select general accountant role. Say assign general accounting manager role. Okay, so just be aware we have 5 roles, but you can proceed with these 2 roles also. Okay, other roles also, if you want to assign, you can assign. Okay, financial analyst, here you can see, or a GL, okay, GL related only, select. Other roles, controller, okay, CFO, those you can assign or you can ignore it, no issues. Okay, but aware we have 5 roles, not mandatory we have to assign all. Just to introduce how many roles we have, we discussed 5 roles. When you are practicing, you can proceed with the first 2 roles, general accountant and accounting manager. Still, if you want to assign financial analyst, yes, you can assign. Done. Say save and close. For GL roles, what we have to do? We have to assign our primary ledger. Already discussed, the moment you create the primary ledger, automatically system creates data access set. The data access set only we have to assign to GL roles. By using which task we can assign our primary ledger to GL roles? What is the task name, please? Meantime, I'll switch from XYZ user to Amex user. What is the task name we have to use to assign our primary ledger to GL rows? Already we completed in our session.
Data access set.
No. What is the exact task name?
Manage data access for users.
Yeah. Data access for user.
Manage data access. Yes.
So that is the exact task. By using the task, we can assign our primary ledger to GL rows. That's what we are going to do now. Already we did. That we did for XYZ INC. Now totally we are switching from that user to new user. And we are going to proceed with the setups which we generated with an app implementation. So go to setup and maintenance. Before we proceed with that, let's create our project also with Amex. Okay, we'll create project, the same username. Now everything will be with Amex now. So we already discussed all these points and we completed. Again, we don't need to discuss, just I'm giving the name as Amex. Now directly you can say save and do, open project. And we can add offering called as financials, right? So add offering called as financials into our project, since we are going to implement financials. Financials, search. So this is all we discussed in the previous classes. So it will take some time because it has to generate all the tasks for all the financials applications, right? So once it would generate the tasks, the background you can see financials. Once you see financials here, you can click on done or cancel. Wait for a second. It will add financials into our project. Just wait for a second. Yeah, done. The background you can see financials folder. Now you can say done. Okay, now we'll go and assign our Amex USA primary ledger to GL roles. The task name is data access for users. Manage data access for users. Okay, manage data access for users. Click on go to task icon. Say create. The username is Amex. To application implementation consultant and IT security manager roles, we don't need to assign anything. The reason, with these roles, we are not going to create any transaction. These two roles for the purpose of doing the setups. So only you have to assign the primary ledger to these three roles only. Financial analyst, general accountant, general accounting manager. If you assign other roles like chief financial officer and controller, if you assign those two additional roles also, yes, to those two roles also you can assign your primary ledger. Select financial analyst role. What we are trying to assign data access set is nothing but our primary ledger. Primary ledger only copied as a data access set. Same we are going to assign to this role for this user. Primary ledger name is Amex USA primary ledger. Select. Now click on add. Username is Amex. Select next role. General accountant. So security contest is data access set. Security contest value is our ledger name. Amex USA primary ledger. You can click on add. Okay, type Amex. Select role, General Accounting Manager. Security context is data access set. Amex. So that's all. We assigned our primary ledger to 3 roles for this user. Now say save and close. Now whatever the primary ledger we assign to this user roles, these need to be updated in the directory services. For that reason, we have to run one job called as LDAP. This point also we discussed, okay, the previous classes. Now whatever the primary ledger we assign to this Amex user related GL roles, the assignment need to be synchronized. This assignment need to be updated in the directory services. For that reason, we have to run the LDAP, LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. So that job we have to submit so that the assignments what we did just now, those everything will get up to date so that user can start accessing to record the business transactions in general ledger application. So go and submit LDAP job. When we are running the LDAP job, after assigning primary ledger to GL roles, we have to run LDAP job so that the assignment will get synchronized in the directory services. If the assignments are updated in the directory services, then only user can access the same primary ledger for GL related transaction creation. To run the LDAP job, go to tools. We are doing this second time, right? And go to scheduled processes. Click on schedule new process. Here we have a job. In EBS we call it as request and request set. Here we are calling a job and job set. Anyway, here you can type LDAP and use tab. It will fetch if any job is available with this term, it will display. Okay. Or else what we can do is instead of going with that, you can click on drop down. Don't enter anything. Click on search. Search with the term called as LDAP. Here is one job called as retrieve latest LDAP changes. That means in the directory services, what are the changes are occurred, those need to be updated, those need to be synchronized with this application related access. Select this retrieve latest LDAP changes job and say OK. What this job will do, you can see as a description. What it will do, if you submit retrieve latest LDAP changes job, it will synchronize users and user related roles and grants the definition of LDAP. Okay, so the assignments what we did, those will get updated. That's it. Say OK. Click on submit. Say OK. Refresh. Okay, once these are synchronized, if you go to navigator, okay, if you go to navigator, here you can find the general accounting. Okay, you can see the general accounting, and here you can access to general ledger application with these tasks. Okay, with this task you can access to general ledger application. To have access to those general accounting within the navigator, you should submit this. Okay, you should submit retrieve latest LDAP changes. Otherwise, sometimes you can see this even if you don't submit that. But by using this, you cannot record the transaction. System will restrict. it won't allow you to have access to our primary ledger. Okay. Fine, done. So anyway, you just submit this and wait for 2 minutes at least, then you can proceed with the next step. So again, it is not mandatory we have to submit. There is auto synchronization Oracle enabled, but it takes some time. Once we assign our primary ledger to GL related roles for specific user, the changes will get updated in the LDAP automatically, but it takes some time. It will follow some queue. One after other, it will execute. If you want to update immediately, it is recommended from Oracle. We have to submit the LDAP job. The job name is retrieve latest LDAP changes. Simply we call as LDAP job. If you submit LDAP job, the changes will reflect immediately so that user can have access to the same whatever assigned to that user with that setup. So this is a point we have to notice. Okay, done. So we have project, we have user, and we have setups ready. Now, before we proceed with the subledger applications, we will test by passing one transaction in the general ledger application. Because our primary ledger is ready, okay, we will see how we can create the transaction within the general ledger application with the 3 C's already we discussed. Okay, if you have a primary ledger with the 3 C's, you can create the transactions in GL. But if you have a primary ledger with the 4 C's, you can create the transactions in subledger applications also. Other than GL, all applications we call as subledger applications. Now, system created primary ledger. Okay, selected accounting method also. That point we forgot to discuss. If you go and verify, so primary ledger, the primary ledger definition you can see accounting method also. We did select, system would select. The accounting method we did provide within the wrapped implementation sheet. The wrapped implementation sheet, we given the inputs for calendar, chart of accounts, and currency only. For accounting method, we didn't provide anything. So specify ledger options. So this is our implementation project. Here you can select our primary ledger. Say save and close. Okay, accounting method is selected as a standard accrual. What does it mean by standard accruals? What we have inside of the standard accruals that I all will discuss in case of payables. When we are working on the payables application, we'll have one separate session on this accounting method. Okay, we'll open and we'll see how to modify as per business requirement. We'll go through all those points. Automatically system is picking the accounting method as a standard accruals. Nowhere we are giving any input through rapid implementation sheet. Okay, done. So here, if you want to create any transactions in general ledger application, we have to open the current period. Okay, the current period is December. We have to open the December period. If December period is open, then only you can enter the transactions in December period. I think these we'll see in the tomorrow session. Already we just hitting 9. So in the we done for today. If you have any questions, you can stay back. Okay. So in tomorrow session, we'll see how to open the periods, how to enter the transaction in the GL. Once we're done with that, we can start with the payables. The very first application which we are going to deal is payables. This is a sequence we follow. First, we'll work on AP. After complete AP, we'll work on P2P cycle. After P2P cycle, we'll work on receivables. After that, we'll proceed with cash management. Then we'll work on O2C cycle. Then we'll go to FA, fixed assets. Then we'll just come back to GL. And along with that, the tax, fusion tax, okay, and fusion expense. Okay, we'll
So
go.
Lakshman, you have three responsibilities. What you added, those are only GL specific, I
Roles.
guess, right?
Those three are roles we call, which are equal to responsibilities. Yeah, those are for GL.
Okay, specific for GL. That's what I was.
Yeah, specific for GL, correct. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
this is the sequence we are going to follow. Okay. So in the tomorrow session, we'll see like what are the primary ledger we kept ready, how to use it to enter the transaction. We'll see. Once that is done, we can start with the accounts payable, then P2P, AR, then CM, cash management, then O2C, FA, GL, tax, and expense. When you say tax, fusion tax, as per EBS, EBT, expense means fusion expense as per I expense. Okay. So this is sequence we'll follow.
Will you please upload today the dumps?
Yeah, today for sure I'll upload. Yeah, 100% I'll
Thank
upload.
you.
I'm sorry for the delay. Yeah, if you guys are expecting the dumps, so I'll for sure I'll upload today. Yeah.